you do it? You did a countdown too. You kind of mimicked my countdown. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Guys, welcome to another edition. Guys,
that's why I have to do it.
That's why you had to do it. Yeah. Guys, welcome to another edition of the KellumMD.com video podcast. Gabe Farias, Dr. Daniel H. Kellum Jr., MD, CEO of Kellum Family Medicine and all of its friendly subsidiaries, I guess. No, I guess Kellum Physician Partners would be the umbrella, and the subsidiaries would be Kellum Family Medicine, all of its brother and sister subsidiaries, if you will. Dr. Kellum, it's been a couple of weeks.
I know, Gabe. How you been?
I've been fantastic. How have you been?
I've been good. Very
wonderful.
Good.
You're such a nice guy. Thanks. By the way, visit KellumMD.com if you want to set up a visit at any of those clinics. Of course, all kinds of wonderful things going on at Kellum, including a location out at Braun and 1604 that Dr. Kellum is really close to.
It's coming. Hopefully July we'll be in.
Yeah.
Construction always has its way of delaying
things. It's fun, isn't it?
Yes.
It's fun. So KellumMD.com, visit that website. You can find out all that is good and great about Kellum and all of its subsidiaries. Dr. Kellum, I know you and I kind of joke, and we're sometimes borderline mean, if you will. But if it's one thing that I've known about you as both a provider and a friend for 3 decades now, you're a sweet guy. And bedside manner it's not as important as the actual medical services you provide, which are top notch, but it's pretty dang important. And I want to talk about the importance of bedside manner and how you guys treat your patients at Kellum.
Well, I appreciate the compliment.
Yes, absolutely.
Kind of weird.
It was a little weird, wasn't it? And you're so handsome as well. All right, don't make it weird, Dr. Kellum. Come on. All right.
But actually, it's interesting, Gabe, because when we get students through there, one of the things that I always try to teach them is the importance of bedside manner. And it seems a little weird that you have to actually teach somebody about that. But what we do see with that, one, we always got to remember it's an honor when people walk in your door and ask them, and they ask you to care for them. And that's one of the things that I think at Kellum Family Medicine, and really for people that I come into contact with, is something that's always front of mind. The idea that someone says, please care for me and my family, is a huge honor. And in and of itself, I think that should create humility enough for a doctor to be able to actually listen and pay attention. But the bedside manner part is really important. I would even argue, Gabe, equally to the knowledge.
I didn't want to say that, but I know how big. I mean, and this goes back from your dad, your brother,
Right.
everybody at Kellum.
Right.
When you walk into that room, you're talking to your provider, but you're also talking to somebody who truly cares about you, health and wellness wise,
Right.
personal wise. I mean, you guys go the extra mile.
It's a very intimate relationship, Gabe, when you walk into a doctor's office, and you got to be very comfortable to be able to bear all things that are problematic for you emotionally, physically, things that are uncomfortable, home situations. It's one of the things that I really encourage our providers, myself as well as our students, is you've got to be able to drop their guard. So you got to be able to listen, make them feel like it's okay to be vulnerable, because if we don't allow that to happen and we're not able to really dive deep into the issues and have people be honest with us about the things that are going on, it's really we're only treating certain parts of the whole problem. And I don't think that's a good way to go about it. People need to feel heard when they're in the doctor's office. You got to give them the time, but you've got to give them the compassion and ability to really feel like they can just let their guard down. And that's where I think bedside manner is really very important, because it really is the bridge into the other issues that we deal with. And if we're really closing that bridge off, it makes a very difficult connection. And like any relationship, you have to have connection before you have any kind of prosperity to that relationship.
So again, and I'm not just blowing smoke, because you have been my doctor. You've been my dad's doctor, my mom's doctor when she was with us, my brothers, my entire family, my kids. You are as good a provider as you're going to find in the state of Texas.
Thanks.
But you're also equally as good a teacher as I've seen by you. Literally, I'm not blowing smoke. You were the preceptor of the year a couple of times. UIW asked you to speak to the other preceptors because of how important a role you play. How important of it is it? I know you kind of touched on it, but dive into, as a teacher, as a professor of students that are going to be doctors someday, how do you teach bedside manner to somebody who's really trying to go through the initial stages of being a doctor?
It's interesting, right?
Yeah.
Because as students, they're so focused on the nuts and bolts of medicines, the things that they don't want to miss. Everybody's afraid that they're going to miss a cancer or miss a disease issue, and those things are really important. And we certainly try to work our way through that. But my contention to them is that you can never get to that if people don't want to talk to you.
If you don't build trust.
Right. And so, for me, to them, that's one of the things that I think is the first things that we do. I watch their interaction. I watch their ability to really connect and talk to people and not say, get their eyes out of the chart and onto the patient and really just be there as a conversation. And so we have certain tools in our office that allow the scribing part to be done so that we can really pay attention to the patients. And how I teach that hopefully is by example, by word, by experience. Doing this 30 years, you really learn what's important and really what helps build practices. And that is the thing that I have found is that when people walk away and they feel like you've listened, you've heard, you've given them some hope in situations that they may have not gotten hope in the past, it really does change things. And if you make that little difference with a little bit of your time and a lot of your compassion, it really changes the whole dynamic of your relationship with these patients.
So I've been a part of your offices ever since the beginning of the relationship with UIW. And this is going to sound like, what is it called, a shameless plug that I'm about to say. But every one of the students that you've seen, I've seen them improve from start to finish on their bedside manner, on their personality, with the exception of one student. And that's Lauren Hatherall, who went in with this wonderful disposition already. And it just so happens that she is now a provider at Kellum. Not a plug, but it's true. She kind of had that
a long time ago.
A long time ago.
She is. And so I'd like to think I'm smart.
Yes, I know.
Got her hooked.
I would like to believe that you believe you're smart too, for sure.
Lauren she's a wonderful.
But I'm not wrong in that.
No,
I think,
you're not.
Yeah.
And Allison, our other provider as well, both equally good. But with Lauren, I had a particular relationship as a student.
Yeah, but Allison wasn't one of our students, though. Yeah.
But Lauren has always had that ability, and to this day, it's only prospered with the increase in her knowledge and as her experience continues on. But she's got a connectability for people that really is off the charts, and people love her. They feel comfortable with her, and it is very important. And it sees kind of silly, and I'll just sort of tell y'all what I tell them is that when say a grandma's coming into to see you, right? It's there. She's feeling sick for a while. All of the family's asking, Grandma, when are you going to go to the doctor? When are you going to go to the doctor? And so, that day comes, and if you're meeting that moment with the excitement and with the compassion and with the interest and the thoroughness that meets their expectations or their worries, when they go home, what's going to happen is 15 people will call Grandma and say, Grandma, how'd the doctor go? And her answer will be, they were very nice. They really listened to me. Not about our knowledge, not about what we're going to do, but really about the connection. And that's, I think, one of the things that we've been able to do pretty well and has really helped our practice. And Lauren is a great example of that. And that's what I teach the students through UIW in terms of how to be good at their craft and how to be a good doctor, because that is really the beginning of everything.
Yeah, and I gave the plug to Lauren because I think she's just a beautiful person, an incredible provider, a new provider. But it doesn't stop with Lauren at Kellum. Every one of the folks that you have that are seeing patients are just tremendous folks.
Yeah, we're very blessed with that. Our campus really does a great job in running our providers and hiring. I think we've got a very unique culture, but really we are very purpose-driven in terms of giving to our community and really being there for our patients. And we make it a point that we talk about all the time. Luckily, these people do it in the natural, so we don't really have to really stress it too much. But they really do a good job. But that connection, back to your original question, and bedside manner, I think is the cornerstone of building anything in terms of medicine and relationships. And without that, knowledge becomes empty because if you're not able to convey it, what's the purpose of it?
Yeah, Dr. Kellum, at Kellum Family Medicine, starts with staff, starts with the front office folks. It continues with the providers, everybody there. has a great attitude, great disposition, and they truly care about patients that go to Kellum. Well, Dr. Kellum, thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah,
Okay, we
sure.
gotta ask a kind of outside the lines question, if you will.
Sure.
Tell me what that thrombosis thing is that Wemby
So-
has, because everybody keeps asking me, and I'm like, dude, I barely passed science. I don't know.
So in the veins, when
Yeah.
you have it in your lower legs, that's the most common thing that we see, but it can be in the veins in the arm. Sometimes you get clot formations. And veins take blood back to the heart through the lungs. And so sometimes if those clots are big enough,
It can cause some problems.
cause a problem.
Yeah.
So the technical term is pulmonary embolisms, and these are venous thrombosis or clots. And so you get them on anticoagulation medications, you thin out that clot, you break it up, and then it really does go back to minimizing a risk that can be deadly for some people.
It seems like they caught it early, though.
They did, and I think it seems like, and I know very little about it, but they seem to have caught it early. They're taking a lot of precautions. That young man is the future of the Spurs.
Yeah, you know very little about his particular
Right.
situation, but you know about what
Yes.
the thrombosis is.
And we see it and deal with it a lot. And so it's one of those things that it's no joke. You got to take it seriously. The medicines that are out there are good, but they're tough in the sense that you got to watch bleeding and all of that kind of stuff. But I think it's
He's going to be fine.
I think so. I mean, based on what I know about it, he should be good.
All right. Well, Dr. Kellum, thank you so very much. Another enjoyable, quite enjoyable.
Thanks, Gabe. Good
Wasn't
seeing
a whole
you.
lot of contention.
No.
Maybe in the beginning.
Well, because
I'm a stupid.
very.
There you go. All right. For Dr. Daniel H. Kellum Jr., I'm Gabe Farias, folks. Stay healthy.